Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever, wherever you find yourself. Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Tech with yours truly, Samuel Adraning. We do this Fridays and every Friday, once we have the capacity to do it. Welcome to the stream. If it's the first time joining us, my name is Samuel Adraning. I try to demystify technology on this channel every Friday. So, Ellie Clem, Ellie Clem, it looks like you're going to be the official how do I call it? Official man of the stream for this year. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for joining the stream and thank you for the support as always. Welcome to another episode. Today is the last Friday of the month and also the last Friday for 2023. And as we do it on the show all the time, we try to look back, do an AMA, which is asking me anything on the current technologies or stuff we're talking about. But then also, it's being the last Friday of the year, we're going to recap some of the things we did in the year, talk about, way forward, things to expect. Let's have a conversation, bring your questions, technologies that emerged in the year, let's talk about it. If this sounds like something you want to do, stick and stay with me. When we come back from our montage, we're going to get straight into it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Awesome. We're back. And if this is the first time joining the stream, I would please indulge your, just subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then also, just like it, share it so that anytime I go live or drop any content, you can see it. If that is hard to do or that seems challenging, just scan this QR code that will take you to my YouTube channel where you can subscribe and look at all and have, a peek of all the things I do on the stream. So before we get into it, we've been running a series on Microsoft Azure Cloud, and we'll be taking a look at the services in Azure Cloud. We started looking at app services. We've done two episodes on it already. And while today is end of the month, ask me anything. We'll try to finish it up, and then also have conversations about the year, the technologies that emerge, and if you have any questions, you can pretty much bring them across and I'll try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Now, before we do that, I want to take this opportunity to also celebrate someone. I mean, I don't know this person, but the feat they've been able to achieve is something worth celebrating as Ghanaians and as Africans. And I want to, say a big congratulations to if you happen to be in Ghana or probably following or watching us, you would have probably heard about this lady, Efua Santoa, who attempted the Guinness record for the longest individual sing-a-thon. And as of the early part of today, she had done 126 hours and 52 minutes. So big salute to you for what you did. It's not an easy feat. I'm not a musician, but people who sing can attest to the fact that it's not it's not an easy feat. So we celebrate you. We hope that Guinness goes through it and hopefully confirms you as the next record holder for that. With that said, we celebrate all of you who made great strides in the tech industry this year as well. Salute to all of you for all the good stuff you've been doing in the tech community. And I want to first start the conversation off by the show itself. For those who have probably been following me for some time now or new, it's actually this year is the 4th year I started to do the streams all across my platforms. So from IoT Tuesday to Demystify Tech. A fun fact was that this show was actually called Functions Friday, where I started just doing stuff on Azure Functions, and that's how this show started. But I realized that no, Azure is quite broader than just functions, so I opened it up to be able to do a lot of other Azure specific stuff. And then Power Series also started just about the same period. So it's been 4 years of doing this, and it's not easy. A lot of people keep asking the question, how do you do it? You run 3 shows, you full-time working, you're doing all that stuff. It's not easy, but from the support from people like you who watch the stream and who comment or reach out and say, hey, I was able to do this thanks to you, keeps us going. And the conversation big Yes. So did a lot with WhatsApp. Yes, he did quite a lot with WhatsApp, which was interesting. And just to remind, if you're just joining us, welcome to the stream. Today we're talking about generally it's an ask me anything about technology, and then also recapping the year for the show and what to expect, and then we'll try to finish up what we started with Azure App Services, CI/CD pipelines. Yeah, that's interesting. So the show has come a very long 4 years is not easy consistent streaming, but people will notice that if you will follow me, notice that from the early part of this year I didn't do a lot of streaming. I really started just the last quarter of the year to start the streams again and go on. And I want to use the opportunity to cover something that you probably don't hear much of, but is the reality on the ground. Content creation is not it's not easy. I'll be very honest about that. Content creation is not easy. It's a very tiring and very demanding and sometimes draining thing to do. There are moments or periods where sometimes you wake up and you don't feel like churning any content. The times when there is some anxiety that sets in, and there's sometimes that generally you feel a little depressed in trying to churn the content, especially when you feel I've been doing this for a while now. I'm not getting the traction, and then plus other things that coming as a content creator. There's also burnout, where you try to churn content for a long time and then you feel I probably don't have anything to give, or there's just a lot going on. I just want to use the opportunity to say thank you to all the people who support me in the background. I'm grateful for all of you. I can't mention all the names. A lot of people who helped make this possible. Um, Having a family that also understands you is quite a very huge support system. Sometimes you feel like I feel like I don't want to do this any longer, and the support system tells you, hey, you got to go, you have to keep pushing, you have to make this happen. So I'm grateful for all the people who make who support me in one way or the other, those who motivate me, those who encourage me, and those who always remind me of why I started this series of streams, to share technology, to share the knowledge with people, and hope that we can make the world a better place through technology. So I want to use the opportunity to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to the whole support system. I'm really grateful for your effort, for your dedication, and for your support for me. Um, Going into next year, a lot of technologies and things have emerged over the course of the year. Dominant amongst them is AI. A lot of VR, mixed reality glasses, and all that. So be expecting a lot more of that on the show, demystifying search technologies, from large language models to AI, GPT, Copilot. We will be talking a lot about them on the show next year. We'll be showing how to build a lot of them on the show next year. I'll be delving into other realms which most people have not probably seen me do before, which will be talking about developing your own applications in these environments and leveraging AI into them. Um, so when we started the stream this year, we talked about a lot of things. We saw the unboxing of our Meta Quest. We unboxed the Quest 3 on the show. If you haven't seen this, go back and check the video. We did the unboxing of that. I still haven't brought the review because I'm still going through it. I'll share that review as well. Then segued into unboxing, I think on the same day, unboxing my the the Meta Ray Ban glasses, cool glasses, by all standard. I think I should wear it so that I am men in black. Cool glasses by all standards. There's an AI glasses. So let's try this. Hey Meta, take a picture. And yeah, it would take a picture for me as well. So we talked about this as well, and these are the kind of technologies that will be dominant next year on the show. We'll be taking a look at how these functions, how to use them, use cases, building for Meta as well, how to build your own VR and AR experiences. Yes, early claim, yeah, borrowing for next year. Yeah. If you're really interested in this, keep glued to the channel next year, because we'll be showing from the basics of how you can build your very simple applications, simple interactions, and simple applications on this. A couple of things that will also be I'll be leveraging on here on all my shows is trying to bring to bear the fact that different technologies come together to create great experiences. So whether it's IoT, whether it's general technology, whether it's low code, pro code, all these things come together to create very interesting technologies that we can use to create good experiences, learning experiences, preserve our heritage, culture, tourism, education, healthcare, you name it. We can use them in all these areas. So that is what to also expect. I'm also going to fuse this with a lot of virtual workshops and virtual trainings. Um, there is plan underway to actually organize a few virtual classes or virtual training sessions for free, a few of them. There'll be boot camps, both paid and free. So that is where that is where you pay attention to the episodes, and you could grab yourself discount codes that allow you to get discounts to join some of our paid boot camps. But then obviously the free boot camps and free sessions will be available and posted for you guys to jump onto. So we'll try to do that as well in the coming year. If there is anything you probably were not quite enthused about, or you wanted to see more of on the show that we didn't do in the year, I would really be grateful to have that feedback so that we can incorporate that into next year, which is a couple of just 2 days or 3 days from today, so that we can see all those in the coming year. So whilst we whilst we answer the questions, we wait for questions to come so we answer. I'm going to jump into what we're going to do today, which is part 3 of using the Microsoft App Services. Before I go there as well, I want to talk about this again. I was having conversations with friends over the week and even today about the opportunities and things available for you to use on the Microsoft ecosystem. And on all the previous episodes, I've talked about Microsoft Dev Essentials, Microsoft Developer Program, the Microsoft Startup Founders Hub. These are all resources. These are all things that allow you as a developer to get started and use a lot of Microsoft services for literally basically free. I'm trying so hard to debunk the myth that Microsoft is only for the enterprises. It's not true. That is not true. That is a fallacy, right? It's not only for enterprises. There's a lot for SMEs. There's a lot of startups. There's a lot for everyone to use on the Microsoft ecosystem. And I'll be very interested in having a conversation with you on that, so I can share with you and show you the various and numerous things that you can do on Microsoft ecosystem. It's not just about enterprise license, Office, and all that. No, we've moved way beyond that. There are a lot of resources for you to use free. There's a lot of resources for you to use as a business, as a startup, that you can leverage on. So whilst we move into that space, and talk about or show you the part 3 of our app services, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in chat. I would bring back the main camera. We'll talk about it. We'll deliberate about it. We'll discuss it. I think I'm going to pose a question whilst we continue with what we're doing. Okay, Ellie Klim says, let's see what Ellie says. It will be nice to talk about the the AI wars this year. Yes. It is interesting. It is interesting to see how almost every major tech company is in the race to join the AI battle, and also to provide the best class of AI services. Without a shred of doubt, without any hesitation, I can tell you that so far, between OpenAI and Microsoft, so far, these two are pretty much in the lead in the AI wars. A lot of all the third-party services, auxiliary services that are being built, you can see that underlining them are some of the LLMs and some of the AI modules that have been designed or provided by these two big companies. That's not to say that there are not other AI services or companies that are also doing good job. Yes, there's a lot of them there, But if you look at the market share right now, actually, let's see, top AI. Let's look at that. Let's look at the leading generative AI companies, or just who are the leading companies for AI. Let's look at this. I'm just trying to pull out some numbers to buttress. Let's look at this. Only the essentials. Let's look at this. So let me share this this diagram with you here for a sec. All right. So if you look, and this is from kind courtesy IoT Analytics, and this is December 2023, which is this month, right? If you look at the 3 segments from data center GPUs, for that, it is it is not a competition. I don't want to call it a competition now, but from what we are seeing, NVIDIA is dominating in that sector. For the computer, the GPUs for AI, it's NVIDIA, right? AMD has about 3%. There are others that are about 5%. But the largest player when it comes to data center GPU supporting all this AI infrastructure is NVIDIA, right? If you talk about models and platforms, all right, if you talk about models and platforms that are providing AI and the market share, if you look at, like I rightly said, if you look at OpenAI, 39%, and if you look at Microsoft, 30%, right? Amazon, if we just a sec, let me get this out here. If you look at if you look at Amazon 8%, Google 7%, others 16%, right? So even if you're combining Google, AWS, and to compare with Microsoft and OpenAI, it's still not close. So you can see that these 2 companies, and it's not secret that Microsoft has a lot of investment and shares and leverage with OpenAI. So indirectly, you can say that between Microsoft and OpenAI, with Microsoft having a heavy investment in that, they are technically pioneering or leading the conversation when it comes to models and platforms for AI, right? In the generative AI section. If you look at the services, quite a number of people, doing that. This is scattered all around, right? It's scattered all around. Now, one thing to look at when they talk about the others, in terms of this is the 16% they're talking about. There is the Anthropic, AI, 2 Labs, there is Alibaba Cloud, IBM, Baidu, and but the core, as you can see, is heavily between OpenAI and Microsoft. And Microsoft has infused AI copilots into almost all its services across board. So it's interesting to see. And like I said, even with and here, you realize that even for now, right, you don't see Meta in there. But surprisingly, like I said, there is AI in this thing here called the it's the Llama, right? The model that Meta uses, a Llama, which so interestingly is actually being hosted on Microsoft Azure, right? So that tells you there's a lot in the pipeline. A lot of interesting perspectives, things. So that's why when I mentioned that going forward, is when I mentioned that going forward next year, there's going to be a lot of conversations, or a lot of topics from my channel dedicated towards AI, building AI enabled applications. So I'll show you how to build your own applications leveraging AI. I'll show you how to build your chatbot, which we're already doing on the low code side on Power Series. I've shown how you can use the Copilot Studio to create your own Copilot. We saw that last week. So if you want to catch it, go check out my Power Series. So this is so Eliquim, to answer your questions, this is what is looking like for now. So I'll be interested. We are all eager to see what's going to happen from next year, when others are ramping up to get into that game. Let's see a few things. Let's see if there are like I mentioned, generative AI GPUs. NVIDIA is leading. with over 92%. And you know, even though some companies have released their own, they're releasing their own chips that do, but basically, Nvidia is it, and Nvidia has actually has a lot of partnership with Microsoft. So a lot of the GPUs in the cloud that run a lot of the OpenAI and Microsoft AI services are all onto you know, Nvidia GPUs. So that's interesting. That's an interesting check there. So so next year it will be very interesting to see you know, how this, you know, emerges and how this grows into a bigger market share. So Eliklim, I hope that answered your question. Let's see, there are also documentations about the AI giant. And as you can tell, you know, in terms of what the Microsoft is leading it, Amazon is in there, Google is in there, IBM, Nvidia, Meta, you know, and the rest are, you know, in it. But then, like I said, it's not just OpenAI. There are other services, there are other AI service providers that are also in the mix right there. So Eliklim, I hope that answered your questions. And yeah, so thank you so much. If you're joining us, this is Demystify Tech with Sam. We do this every Friday, and today is Ask Me Anything on anything technology, but then also we are continuing our series on cloud services on Microsoft App Services. Today we'll be taking a look at how to create a CI/CD pipeline from what we've been doing in the past. But then if you have any questions, yeah, drop it in the chat. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. We're trying to talk about technology. Dominant this year and, you know, past couple of, you know, probably years has been AI. There's IoT in the mix, smart systems, smart homes, and all that in the mix as well. So yeah, so that's it. If you have any questions, drop them. So let's get into it. So last week we saw how to deploy the application. We made some changes. I talked about deployment slots, and I was going to talk about CI/CD, but we couldn't get the time to finish that last week, so we left off there. So right now I'm going to show you. Hey, Kojo, welcome to the show. Yeah, what do you have for us? Let's see. So Kojo says, I heard Meta smart glasses have received an update that allows AI in the glasses to describe. Yes. So yes, so the Ray-Ban glasses there are some updates, but it's not a public preview. It's a private preview. A few people have it. I've not updated mine yet. I don't have that yet, but I'm actually keen watching for that. So until now, you could take videos, you could take pictures, but yes, the update allows you to look at something and ask it to describe it for you, and then it would describe it. But what I am looking forward to, what I'm really looking forward to is it will be very interesting to see if Meta allows for applications to be built on top of it and leveraging either their Llama module or leveraging GPT or any other thing. So I'll give you an example. Imagine if they allow for development of this to happen, then we could build our own modules instead of just using Meta's AI. You can use that. You can look at something and say, hey, using whatever, describe what you see, or what do you see, or, you know, do a lot more with it, right? An interesting use case. I'm going to give about 2 or 3 use cases in different sectors, right? So in the areas of security, right? So if allowed to build custom applications on top of the, you know, the Ray-Ban glasses, what could happen is that security service agents could be wearing it either at an airport, at an event, or port of entry, or anywhere they want to do some kind of facial analysis or tracking on inference, right? So where they're wearing it, they are there, and it's running AI modules on all the faces and people they are seeing. So if there are any suspects that are identified, they can point and see. That's one in the areas of security. In the areas of customer service and business, it could be you know, floor managers wearing it to be able to infer the look on people's faces to see if they are satisfied with the customer service they are getting, and being able to determine that and rate that. In the areas of health, doctors could actually wear this to analyze x-rays, right? So an X-ray could be, shown in front of that, and the AI could look at it and give it its inference and say, hey, I think it's a 90% chance it's cancerous, or it's a 20% chance or 3% chance cancerous, right? So you can look at some of these applications. And education is the same thing. Education, you can identify stuff, and even be able to describe things in ways that will help people to learn. So could you, yes, that upgrade is there, but I'm looking forward to more a more open platform that allows developers like us to build on top of the glasses and build our own experiences in it. At some point I was like, I should probably have gotten the transitions one that it's quite transparent but changes into it. But yeah, Kojo, I hope that answered your question. Yeah, so the updates are in, and yeah, don't worry. Once I get a chance to get that update running, I would definitely share that. Another thing too, which I saw that was of interest to me, was the part where I could be doing Instagram live on my phone, and then I could flip from the phone's camera to my Ray-Ban glasses, so that you can see a first person view of what I'm seeing, and not necessarily carrying the phone and trying to do this, but doing that from the glasses. So that's another interesting thing that we can also look at. Let's see. So yeah, could you, I hope that answered your question. Yeah, keep them coming. Yeah, feel free. Let's keep the questions coming. I'm just trying to log into our Azure portal so we can do that. 95. Let's log in. So let's go to our desk. Come on, try this again. There we go. So we've been doing a 3-part. We've done a 2-part series on cloud services. We started talking about the Microsoft cloud services. We're transitioning into AWS, GCP. And truth is that I haven't used Alibaba Cloud before, and I'm curious some way somehow to see what that offers. I think that'll be interesting to know. Maybe next year we need to do a side-by-side comparison. So like right now that we have done app services in Microsoft, maybe we should look at app services and maybe GCP, and app services in let's say Google Cloud, and maybe app services in Alibaba Cloud. Third-party service. That means third-party services can rely, extend using. Yes. Kojo, yes. So if that opportunity, if they open it up, that means that oh. Okay. All right. So you know what? Let me try to address this. Let me try to address this. So first of all, yeah, Kojo says, okay, that means third-party services can really extend the user. Yes, that's the whole point. So if they open it up, third-party services can extend that. Now, so Ellie Klim says that I just chanced on Azure Quantum. Honestly, anything cloud confuses me. Okay, let's break it down. All right, don't be confused. Let's break it down. In the beginning of this series, I try to explain what cloud services are, and I was saying that the cloud services, or cloud, doesn't mean there are no services. Cloud simply means that you are offloading your infrastructure requirement to a more a bigger service provider that has the capacity and the resource to handle that. Right, that's basically the cloud. We have Gmail. You're using YouTube to watch me. It's all deployed in the cloud. Right, we talked about the different types of clouds. We talked about the private cloud, the public cloud, the hybrid cloud. We talked about that. So if you go back and watch the part 1 of this series, you will see me explain that in very simple terms. But don't be confused. I'll address specifically Azure Quantum. To do that, let me actually just go there and explain that to you. So let's talk a little about computer science. All right, let's talk a little about computer science. Let's see this. There you go. Now, basically, right, basically we know, or if you've been in technology for a long time, the basics or basis for data is what we know as, binary, right? Which is in a state of either 1 or 0, which is the foundation for all transistors, electronics, pretty much everything, right? So ones and zeros of the binary system is ways that computer represents data, information, and all that. Then we have bits, bytes, think about that. But the basic foundation of everything is the binary, which is it's either a 0 or 1, right? So systems can, these things can exist in any of these two states at every time, at every given time. They can either be a 1 or a 0. I hope that's clear. Either a 1 or a 0. Now, what quantum computer seeks to do, or has researchers have done, is to generate a system that can exist in more than one state at a time. I don't know if that simplifies it. So quantum computing is simply a powerful way where these things, or representing the data in computers, no longer relies on either 1 or 0. These are modules or transistors, or these basically chips, as you might want to call, whatever you might want to call it, that can exist in more than one state at a time. That's what quantum is. And that means it has the power and capability to represent, or to even process larger, to have larger processing power compared to the binary systems we're running now. And that is what quantum computing is. So these are special purpose computers. I think, you know what? I am not sure of this number. Let me see. Let's see how many quantum computers are there. I think there are about 8 or so are there in the world. Let's look at this. So maybe Elecrim, that would let's see, list of quantum. No, I'm not talking about, let's look at this. Quantum computers. Let's see how many there are. And they don't really look they don't really, they look a bit awkward. I'm trying to pull up some pictures and things to show you how basically they look like. Let's go to the decks. Let me show you this. So this now someone will say, what about supercomputers? So so remember, how many of you remember the floppy disk, 1.4 megabytes? Let me show you this, and then don't worry, this might be giving away my age. This might be giving away my age, but don't worry, I'm still young. How many of you remember this? The 8-inch, 5 1/4, 3 1/4 floppy disk. Floppy disk. You need a floppy drive, and then we went to zip drives. So for you, more recent generation, right? This used to be it's even funny. This used to be our pen drive, okay? This used to be our pen drive. And in those days, if we're going for computer classes, you needed a bunch of these floppy disks to be able to store data. The capacity for this was just 1.44, right? 1.44 megabyte MB. Today, you're carrying 256. I have one here. Today, you're carrying about, this is about a 30 gigabyte, pen drive. But in our days, these were our storage devices, magnetic tape storage devices. All right. Now, the processing power of computers have evolved. It has evolved from just processing, being able to process small data, to process bigger data. All right. So if you look at where we've come from, the processing power of computers is just growing. Even Moore's law's theory now is pretty much because of lack of chip issues, Moore's law is a bit going down. But we have grown, right? The processing power of computers have evolved. So yeah, supercomputers or computers that could do massive calculations in I don't know whether it is micro or nanosecond, like in the smallest fractions of seconds, right? That's what supercomputers did. But if you look at quantum computers, right? And I was trying to share my screen to show. If you look at this, they look some way, some awkward. But like I said, quantum computers are able to represent data in more than one state than just zeros or one, right? Let me see. I'm trying to find out. Gen Zs don't know floppy disk. I know. Yes, I know. Yeah, Gen Zs don't know floppy disks. No, I don't think they know floppy disks. I'm sure if you give it to them, it's in the same way that in some few years to come, when you're given audio tapes, and even Discmans or people who don't know what that is. Yes, but the question is, I was trying to figure out which countries have quantum computers. Let's see. How many quantum computers are in the world? I'm trying to find the number. Honestly, I don't know. So this one says IBM has more than 20 quantum computers available in open source quantum toolkit. That's not what I'm looking for. What types of quantum computers? So electron. I think there are not that many quantum computers. So that explains what quantum computers are. Now, it's the same thing as, I don't know if most of you know this. So when we're talking about computers, right? The computer is pretty much defined by the processing power, GPU. So for most of you right now, if you're trying to buy a computer right now, like especially if you're in gaming, you would want a computer that has NVIDIA GT, the latest GT NVIDIA graphics cards with from 8 GB plus, memory on the graphics card itself, and so on and so forth. So it's the specs, and the higher your processing power or requirement, the bigger or the beefier your specs, right? So quantum computers are pretty much the same thing. So Azure Quantum is another cloud service that makes available to you what we call quantum computers. So if you are a researcher, you want to do some DNA analysis, you want to do some kind of computation that requires massive and huge computation power, right? And you don't want, you feel that you want, and quantum computer can make it really faster in doing what's it? There's a common name for it. What's the name? Sequencing. Yes, genome sequencing or DNA sequencing, right? That requires beefy and very heavy, processing machines. Quantum computers can do that. So you can go into Azure, spin up, a quantum computer, and then use it, and you are billed for the period or for the time where you use the quantum computer. Eloquent, I don't know if that makes sense. Let's go to the decks. Let me show you this. So this is the this is Microsoft Azure Quantum, which is a cloud service for providing quantum computers for you to use. So here you see that it says learn chemistry with Azure Quantum, because most of the medical processes or chemical processes can give you that. You see code with Azure Quantum, write and run quantum code right in your browser. So in this case, what they are doing is that you don't physically have a quantum computer because you can't afford it. It's billions of dollars. You can't even keep it, right? But they have it, and they are providing you access to that compute as a service. All right. Yes, that's very interesting. It's the same thing. So today, and we'll talk about virtual machines or compute as part of the cloud service, and you can see the various compute. So if you want to do some processing that requires such heavy power, then you can go to Azure Quantum, and then just try it out. Like go there, spin off. So here you can see quantum and cryptography. If you want to do high level cryptography, you can try that in quantum as well. So that is what Azure Quantum provides you. So there's a quantum coding, which is Q#. There is a quantum chemistry, and there's a quantum tools that allow you to try quantum computing in its own language, because it requires some bare bone some programming. So if you want to explore, high processing quantum computing, you can go to quantum.microsoft.com and then you can test it out. But I know a lot of the quantum processes is in biology, medicine, all that areas, and also in for high level complex mathematical processing and video processing as well. So that's it. But like I said, so for if I want to, I could come in here and create an instance of the quantum computer service and then use it. In the same way, if I'm trying to, I want a very beefy VM that has a high memory, high GPU and all that. Cloud services allow you. Remember when I started it, I said that cloud services allow you to reduce your capital expenditure, right? So capital expenditure is basically the amount of money you need to put in to start something. So if I were to start, let's say if I'm running a small business and I want to store data or do some kind of server processes, I would have to, my capital expenditure will be, I need to buy a server, I need to get internet connectivity, I need to buy a backup UPS, I need to buy a generator to make sure that if the light goes. So those are all capital expenditures, right? Before you even start. But going to the cloud gives you zero capex. So which means you can just go and spin up, use it, and it's just only your operational cost, which is internet to access the service and stuff like that. And at the end of the month, I pay for what I use, right? That is what Azure allows you to do. So whether it's quantum, and there's even a service at Azure for space, right, where they can manage all the space base stations and stuff like that. So I hope that answered your question, right? Okay, so let's let's go to let's go home. Where is that? Let's go to our resource groups and let's change. Sorry guys, I need to change switch directory. Let's go to all right, there we go. Am I sure I'm in the right? Am I sure I am in the right directory? Oh yeah, I'm not in the right directory. Sorry guys, I need to swap this again. There's no subscription here. Actually, let's I think this is it. There we go. Sorry, I went into the wrong Azure subscription. Yeah, so let's get back into, that's my phone. The notification. There you go. Keeping safe on the internet, and I hope that you have enabled your multi-factor authentication to prevent from hacking on your account. All right, so we're going to go to what we did last week, which is we created 2 slots. So Demystify numbers. If you remember that we created a production and a staging slot, and I showed you how to deploy from from Visual Studio Code, and we did that deployment. So now we have our original we have our production, which was Swift, and we saw how to use app services to change environmental variables, and then we saw how to swap staging for production as well. So in the last episode we did the swapping from here, right? Now another thing we did in the last episode also was to try to enable what we call GitHub into the environment, so that now any changes we made, rather than going into Visual Studio Code and then saying deploy to web application, we can do that directly from. So we went ahead to add Git into our application. So if let's go to, let me open web app. Yep. Going to open this in our Visual Studio Code. And as we can see this, so this is what we did the last time. And now we have a git ignore, which, because this was a node application, we had that. And then we also created a branch in GitHub, right? So dev, Demystify Tech, we had this also going. So now we want to do, I wanted to show you 2 ways of doing CI/CD pipelines in Azure App Service. And don't forget, we're still doing the AMA. So if you have any questions whilst you're moving on, please feel free to drop the questions and then I will try to answer it. And there's something that I want to also put across. Tech is for everybody. Today, every business is a tech business, whether you like it or yes. Let me emphasize this. Every business is a tech business. Whether you are selling food, whether you are producing the food, whether you are farming, whatever you are doing today, every business is a tech business. And therefore, the earlier you position yourself and try to figure out how do I position myself with all this AI and technology to make my business more competitive, you should be doing that. Now, there are two parts to it, whether you want to go the pro code way or you want to go the low code way. But in any which ways, every business is now a technology business. Just have that, at the back of your head. So let's continue with that. Feel free to, reach me out, some consultation hours on how can I use technology to boost my business or put myself and be competitive. Yeah, don't worry. Just book a session with me. We can have a long conversation. So, so in Visual Studio Code, we have a very simple Express front-end application, which was deployed into it. Now we saw two ways of deploying it. We had to use FTP in the first one. We copied the files using FileZilla, and the second one we use Visual Studio Code. So the third one, to make rapid application, application development easy, we have the concept of deployment, continuous integration, continuous deployment. All right. It's pretty much an interesting concept where you have a team of people developing and you want to make sure that there's a seamless flow from code change to code review into your production environment, rather than, hey, there's a change, can you deploy this again? And you remember that when we did the deployment through Visual Studio Code, it actually replaced everything that was there. So CI/CD allows you to do incremental deployment as well for your applications, right? So another thing I want to say is that like I said, next year we'll be focusing a lot on AI Copilot, VR, mixed reality glasses building. If there's something specific you want us to see or you want me to work on or to build or show, just put it in the comment section or reach out and we can add that to it. All right. So now let's go on the left here. We're going to go to the concept of deployment center. I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. The first one is right from within Azure. What you can do is that you can link your application to a GitHub repository so that anytime there is a code change to that repository, it will build it to that environment, right? So that's what I'm going to show you now. It's about, we probably have just about 18 minutes to go. I doubt if we can do this, but the second part will be to use things like Azure DevOps, or to use things like Terraform, Circle CI, Chef, Puppet. There are a lot of tools that allow you to do continuous integration, continuous deployment. So continuous integration is a process of, when the code is changed automatically, how do we compile that code, add what is required, do all that, package it, and then continuous deployment is the seamless pipeline from when the code is built, all the packaging, all the post-production, post-processing, and then deploying it to our production, our staging, or whatever environment you want to put that. All right, so that's it. So I'm going to start with here, and then I'll also show you how to use DevOps if there's time. You can create a DevOps service, create a pipeline, do interesting things with it. So we'll go ahead, I'll click Deployment Center. And if you remember, let's go to GitHub. So when we added the application to GitHub, it's stored in a GitHub repository for us. So let me, sorry, let me go here, go to my repositories, not organizations. And then Demystify Tech. So far, that's what we have. And then, yeah, so in here, as you can see, it's just a basic application. But at the top, like I'm showing you here, we have two branches, the dev and the main branch. And so we can build our pipelines also from GitHub itself by using GitHub actions, right? So from here, we can set up an action that says, hey, anytime there is a change to this branch, right? Process that, make the changes, build the changes, and push it to Azure, wherever you want it to be. But we're going to start from within Azure itself. So I'm going to go to, let's go here, and let's go to Deployment Center. All right. Now, if you want to do this to staging, right, it's still the same thing. So I'll go ahead and say staging, since you want all the changes to first propagate to staging and then pushed to to production. So I'll go to deployment center. And then here, as you can see, a couple of things. It's going to ask me, hey, dude, where is your source? Where is your source? And that is what we did last week by putting it into GitHub. All right. We put it into GitHub. So go ahead, select this, and then you can see GitHub. And like I mentioned, you have options from GitHub, Bitbucket, your local Git, Azure repos, or an external, place. So that's what I'm saying. It's a fallacy when people say, "Oh no, I can only use Microsoft stuff." No, that's not true. All right. I think this is why I need my voice mode. I need my voice mode to do a lot of funny things and some of these conversations. But anyways, ours is on GitHub, so I'm going to select GitHub. And like you see because I have already connected my GitHub account to my Azure subscription, it's able to pull up and tell me the various things, the various organizations, repositories, and branches. So here, a couple of things. If you realize that it's picked up a few things for you to know, you realize that it's picked up the runtime from the definition of the application here. Says node and the version we are using, right? So now I just have to provide my GitHub organization, my GitHub repository, and I mentioned 2 branches. So the branch based on which this deployment slot will be deployed onto, all right? So we're going to go to the organization. I'm using myself, not my company's organization. So this is looping through and it's going to go, and we're using what? Demystify Tech, that's it. And then which branch? You see, we have 2 branches. We have the dev branch and the main branch. So I choose the dev branch. So now take a look at this. I'm saying that, hey, I'm doing a continuous CI/CD on this so that anytime I build or make any changes to the dev branch, go ahead and process this and deploy. I can go ahead and look at the preview the workflow file, which is a configuration to do that. I don't need that, so I can just go ahead and save. And this is setting up. Now, what this is doing is setting up a GitHub action for me indirectly. All right. It's setting up for me indirectly. So if you look at this, this was the last time we did it, 15th, there was a failure. So it's pretty much bringing that failure. And look at this. So this is it. This is in progress. This is the one we just did, because as soon as you set up the deployment pipeline, it created a GitHub action file, a pipeline, a deployment file within your code base. So let me go here and show you something. If I refresh this page, and I'm going to go to dev because we picked the dev branch, and I'll show you what was added. Let's see. So yeah, there you go. Look at this. This was like a minute ago right here. And what is this saying? It's saying that it added or updated an app service build and deployment workflow. Because we did that from app service, it's pretty much integrated and created a GitHub action for us. So even though we didn't do this from within GitHub, which I said you could do from actions, by virtue of connecting and setting it here, look at this, it says success. So now it has deployed the changes to the staging environment using the dev branch. So now if I came here to my dev branch, you should see that all it's deployed. Now let's go here to the GitHub actions. Now there you go, added, updated, Azure, and this is just a YAML file, right? This is just a very basic YAML file. Do you see this? That says that, hey, anytime there is a push to the dev branch, right? The dev branch here, push it to the staging deployment slot in Azure, deploy it. Very simple, right? So now this time around, let's go back here. I'm going to go to the overview and we're going to go back to our staging because this was deployed, and then look at this. So realize that now for our staging, we are seeing Swift, welcome to Azure, and the app is called Demystify Tech. So this is the Swift, right? This is the last change we did in the dev environment. Okay, no problem. So let's keep an eye here. You realize that even in the overview of the page, it will show you the last time the application was successfully deployed right here. Now, so let's do something interesting. Now, I have set up a pipeline using Azure, the inbuilt deployment center, right, on the dev branch. So now I'm going to go into my Visual Studio Code, and because I'm using my Posh, you can see that I am actually working, forgive me, you can see that I am actually working in the dev branch right here, right? So because now there's continuous integration and continuous deployment on my project, I can now go ahead and make changes in the dev branch, push it, and automatically I expect that change to propagate from here directly to the cloud. So that's what I wanted to show you here. So now let's look at the production. This is the production. The title is Swift. Welcome to Azure, and the app is called, this is what we have currently. So let's go to our, here, let's open our app.js. We have all these things set up. So I'm going to go to views. Let's go to index. And then we have this here called welcome to Azure. And the app is called, and the app name, which is coming from the route, right? So the app name is what we are picking from the, how do you call it? The environmental variable. So I'm just going to make a very simple copy here. So I'll just say, I'll put this in a paragraph, and I'll say this new change was added by CI/CD, was added by a CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so I made this very beautiful change here and I saved it. Now this change will not propagate yet because this is still local. So let me go ahead and save this and go ahead and do my first of all, let me just do my where is that? npm start. I want to test the application and make sure that the changes are added. So all I have done is just to add one line, right? It's just to add yeah, there's a deliberate mistake in there, but that will show you how rapid it is. I just left that in because I want to show something. So this is running. We come back here. Let's go to our local host 3000, and you can see it says those new change was added via CI/CD pipeline. So this change is in local, which you can see from the top here. You can see this from here as localhost 300. All right, but still in production here, it is still Swift. There's no change here. Okay, and now there's a mistake. So but before then, let's push it and see how rapid and simple this is. So let me go ahead and make the change. That's why you test locally. So I can come back. Let's close this for now. Come back here, and yeah, I wanted to see this. So changes made, saved. So now let's go ahead and push this to our repository and see the pipeline build it into Azure. So we're going to do git add. Let's add all the changes. Let's do git status. Don't worry about that message. So you see that we've modified the views here. You can see that it's telling us that we've modified the views index.js, EJS. We've added something. Don't worry about this. It's because I'm on a Windows. My line endings are not being configured. So if I was on a Mac, it would have been CLLF, something, stuff like that. So don't stress yourself about that. So now I'm going to do git. I'm now going to commit it into GitHub. My message is added a new line. Do this. And then I'm going to do git push. Now, what I have done is literally, it says what? Updates because the tip of your current is behind. Yes. So the reason why this is behind is that there was an addition of the CI/CD pipeline file, which I have not put into my environment. So I'm going to do git Cool. Or you can still do git fetch origin. And now that makes my branch at par with what is there, right? So if you see, this is deployment. As you can see, these are all things added by the pipeline. So let's try this again. I'm going to do the pull is fine. I'm already up to date. So let's go ahead and do git push. I'm going to push this into the cloud. So look at this. So this is pushed. So this change that I have made, this new change was added by CI/CD pipeline. It's now been pushed into the branch. And if I refresh this or go to my deployment center, you should see that something has been triggered. You see this? Right here. You should see that it's in progress. You can see that a change has been triggered in progress, and that's happening. And if you go to GitHub itself and you go to actions, you should also see that something is being triggered automatically, right? Because of this integration, because of this CI/CD integration, the fact that I committed into that branch, it is automatically picked up the changes, wrapped up, and look at this. It says that it's being merged successfully. So now look at this. This is production, right? This is the staging environment in Azure, right? Before someone says I'm messing with them. So I'm just going to hit the refresh button, and we should see this here. We should see our new line added. This new change was added by CI/CD pipeline. And that is how interesting and simple it is to implement CI/CD using either the Azure Deployment Center, or you could achieve the same thing using actions in GitHub. So this is what time will permit us. It's 9:03. I want to be very respectful to our time. It's been an awesome year. It's been an interesting season. And hopefully in the next year, or the next episodes of the show, I hope to see you all and your friends. Bring all your friends, bring all your family, bring all your classmates, your colleagues. Let's learn together. Let's make the world a better place. And yeah, interesting, go to see all the stuff from the Ray-Ban to the mixed reality glasses on how to use Unity to build experiences. It's all going to happen on this show. If this sounds like something that is of interest, like I always say, please, 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 please do me the favors, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, invite your friends to do same. And if that's too much for you, please hit this, just scan this QR code, and then you can join the family. Also, if you're interested in joining the WhatsApp group, we have a WhatsApp group that we share some of these things, specifically on technology, Microsoft.NET, Azure AI, and that's the QR code also on the screen. Feel free to scan this and also join the QR code. I also have a personal WhatsApp channel that I've created to help disseminate information about that. It will be shown on the thank you page when I sign out. So, like I always say, I remain yours truly, Samuel Adjani. This has been another episode of Demystify Tech. Thank you so much for being with me throughout the year, throughout the 4 years. Let's continue to support each other. Let's make the world a better place with technology. And I hope to see you again. It's a wrap. Yes, I hope to see you again next year, but it's not ended yet. I hope to see you on Sunday to continue the bot and chatbot development in Power Platform. And then next year, from IoT to technology to AI to all that, this will be your plug in doing that. With that said, thank you so much for being a great audience for me. I really appreciate and lots of love for what you show to me. Hope to see you. Stay safe out there as you celebrate and cross over into the new year. Let's be safe, and I'll catch you next year. Bye-bye for now.